All right, so if you're on a software team, you know this feeling. It's that constant hunt for information, that nagging sense that answer you need is buried somewhere. You just have no idea where. Well, today we're going to talk about a tool that can finally tame that chaos and give your team a real single source of truth.
Seriously, does this feel familiar? You're digging around for that one critical bit of info. Is it in an old email, a Word doc on some shared drive? Maybe it was in a pull request comment from like 6 months ago. It's just a super frustrating and inefficient way to work. So what if there was just one central place for all of that knowledge? One spot that everyone on the team actually trusts and contributes to. Well, the good news is, if your team is already using Azure DevOps, you've got the key to unlock this right now.
Okay, so let's jump right in. We're going to see how to tame all that chaos using the built-in Azure DevOps Wiki. It's a really powerful feature that, honestly, a lot of teams just overlook, but it's designed to solve this exact problem. So what is it exactly? Well, the Azure DevOps Wiki is your integrated hub for all your project documentation. But here's the key thing. It is not a one-size-fits-all tool. The most important part to understand is that it offers two very different approaches for managing your team's knowledge, and we're going to explore both. Okay, first up, we have this really cool approach that I like to call Wiki as code. This is where your documentation literally becomes a living, breathing part of your code base. It gets versioned and managed right alongside the actual software it's describing. So why on earth would you do this? Well, it's absolutely perfect for technical documentation that has to stay in sync with your product. Think about things like API guides, software development kits, or those really detailed READMEs. As you release new versions of your product, you can just publish the new branches, which means your docs always match the code. And you know what? Getting started is shockingly simple. You literally just create a new folder, say /documents, right inside your existing Git repository. Then you add all your documentation as standard Markdown files. And then, with just a few clicks, you tell Azure DevOps, hey, publish that folder as a wiki. And that's it. Your code and your docs are now perfectly linked.
And this is all done using Markdown, which is, just a super simple way to format text. You can see here, you just type a couple of hashes for a header or use asterisks to make text bold. It's this clean, easy syntax that just renders into beautifully structured stuff like lists and tables, and you never have to leave your text editor. Okay, but what if your documentation isn't really, tied directly to the code? Well, that's where our second option comes in, the Project Wiki. Think of this one as your team's totally clean slate, completely independent of any code repo. This is basically your team's central digital notebook. It's a standalone space that requires no Git repository at all, so it's perfect for all that non-technical information that swirls around a project. High-level plans, team meeting notes, design brainstorming, process docs. It's just simple, accessible, and really powerful. But here's where it gets really cool. No matter which style you pick, the Azure DevOps Wiki comes with some incredible power-ups. We're talking way beyond just text on a page. So let's look at two of my absolute favorites, creating living diagrams and using a full revision history. Now check this out. I know this might look like a block of code, but you're actually looking at a diagram. It's written in a simple language called Mermaid, and what it's doing is describing all the steps in an authorization flow. You just type out who talks to who in plain text, and bam! This is the magic part. Azure DevOps automatically turns that text into a clean, professional sequence diagram that's embedded right there in your wiki page. All of a sudden, your documentation isn't just static text anymore. It's a living, visual tool. And what about when you make a mistake? Hey, it happens. The wiki has totally got your back. Every single time you save, that's a new revision. This timeline here shows the life of a single page, from when it was first created, to adding that mermaid diagram, to adding an image. But check out that last step. If you make a change you don't like, you can just view the full history, compare any two versions, and roll back to a previous one with a single click. So we've seen the two main ways to do this, and some of the really powerful features. This brings us to the big question. Which style is right for your team and your project? All right, let's break it down one last time. Super simple. Go with the Wiki as code approach when your documentation is really tightly coupled to the code itself, like for APIs or SDKs that need versioning. For pretty much everything else, your project plans, your meeting notes, your team standards, the simple standalone Project Wiki is going to be your best friend. It gives you freedom and simplicity, and you never have to touch a code repository. So really, the big takeaway here is that you probably already have the perfect tool to end all your documentation chaos.
By creating that single source of truth, you free up your team to focus on what actually matters. So I'll just leave you with this question. With all that new clarity, what will your team build?
So in this lab, we are going through shared team knowledge using Azure Project Wiki. So I'll pass this Microsoft Learn link into description section so that you can follow when you do this lab. So the very first thing here, I have already connected to Azure DevOps and also set up service connections, mm, Azure subs. Now we are going to, which is prerequisite actually to use Azure DevOps um, and continue with this lab. So now let's input the source repository. So for that, click on repos and files. And you go there, if you see that there is input option under import a repository, select that input and paste the source URL, repository URL and click on import. So input is successful. You can see that its structure is different files and folders relate to this lab environment. Now we are going to make that main branch as a default branch. So if you go down that main branch ellipse button, then set as default branch. And after that, let's go to in the files option, and here expand the source folder, then go to web, then go to www root, and then underneath that you will see that there is a images subfolder, and here you can see that different images are there, and one of them is brand.png. So you go there, select this more options and click download. So you can open the file, the image. So close that one. Now we are going to create a document folder. So for that, here you see that files, and then notice that there is a this under this repo. Let's see folder structure. Let me go back here, files. So we'll create a folder here now. So this repo, select that ellipse option and then select new and click on folder. Give a name. We are giving this folder name as a documents. And then because it does not allow an empty folder, so we are creating an file, that readme.md, as new file name, and then click on create. And you can see that readme file, it's open into view mode. So confirm commit, click commit again. So that is done. Now we are going to publish code as a wiki. So for that, in the Azure DevOps portal here, select that overview, and here you see the options is wiki. Select that wiki, and here this the two options there: create project wiki and publish code as wiki. So select that publish code as wiki, And when it's coming, and then it's coming to select that repository, then branch, select the main branch, folder, select the folder, which is documents folder that we created. I don't see document folder. Oh, I have created top level. So let me just type here. And then give a wiki name. Now after that, select that publish option. It's showing that this does not exist. Okay, let me open a second tab. Go to repos. And here I can see the document. Oh, I have created under files. Yes, that's a separate folder. This folder, documents folder. I can see that folder. Maybe it's taking little time. Let's go back. I don't see folder that one here. Cancel. Oh, I select the wrong repository because that is under that number. Select that one, then main branch. Now select that one documents folder. Yes, this time it's there. Click OK and then select publish. So now you can see that page is here. Now we will create a wiki content. Now here in the page title, no option there. Or new page. Oh, that one. So this file, let's create a new page. So select that new page. Close that one. Then give a page title. And then insert the body. Paste the content. Markdown. The sample text demonstrates several common markdown syntax. Here you can see that one, like in that double hash and triple hash or single hash relate to titles, subtitles, or bold text. You can see that number options. You can see also bullet options and also table options. So now click on save button here. When that done, refresh the page. And you can see here now that eShopOnWeb documents this wiki with that welcome to our online retail store as the home page. You can see that button there. So now manage published wiki content. So now in this side you can see that repo. So select that repo. Okay. So now files. Here what we say, what is after here? So let's go to the document folder. And just welcome to our online store.md file. Select that one. And you can see actually that how those markdown format is visible as a raw text. So here you can see the raw text like raw text here. So now create and manage a project wiki. So for that let's navigate to the wiki pane of the eShopOnWeb project. So if we go to overview and go to wiki, and this is the wiki content. And here you can see that create new project wiki. So select that one, give a page title, then cursor into body section, body of the page. Select this leftmost icon of in the toolbar, header settings. And here you can see that the option is uh, like header 1, and this actually had a hash character at the beginning of the line. And after that you can type authentication and authorization and press enter. So you can see how that looks on right side. Select the option again, and this time select 2. You can see the double hash character. Now type another Azure DevOps Auth 2. Now you can see that it is smaller size, smaller heading. And press enter. And you can also add a mermaid diagram. Mermaid in a diagramic or characteristic tools that renders markdown inspired text definition to create diagram dynamically. So now paste the text down below here, and you can see the diagram is loading here. Now here, just click that load diagram. You can see the diagram here, that output. So it's a flow chart illustration. Now save with revision message. So for that, upper right hand corner in the editor pane, select that. Let me go through all the options here. So now you see the top level, there's a save option and save with revision message. So select that one. So now here, give a message and click save. So now add an image section, and now place the cursor at the end of the Mermaid section, and you can press enter to add a new line, and select that header as a header to settings, and here type user interface, press enter. Now that toolbar section, select the paperclip icon, which actually insert a file. Now get the downloaded file we have downloaded before, so brand.png, and select open. And you can select preview on the other side. And then again to save, and select save with revision message. Then give a message into save page, and then click save. So now we can close that one. So select that close button. Now next section is manage a project wiki. So when that project wiki is selected, select this one, vertical ellipsis, and here you can set that view revisions. Select that one. And from there, you can see the revision timing, like version timing. And most recent changes a minute ago. So select that one. And here you can compare between these two. So if you say, see that previous one, you will see that brand image that we have added, that one is not there. So now select revert. When prompt, you can just click on revert. So this is just mainly to version controlling. So if you want to version control, then you can do this one. We go to project design. You can see all the informations there. Wiki. And then here, if you go there, the revision you can see. And this is the last update. If you go there, go back, select that one. You can review. You can apply that one, otherwise revert back. Now add and organize wiki pages. So let's go back. Okay, revert. Successfully reverted. The changes mean this revision. Select close. Project design page. And if you want to create a page, here you see that click on create new page, bottom left corner. Then give a page title and click save. And then click close. So now here you can see that there is a project design overview entry. Select it, and you can just above the project design page. So you can uh, mhm. Okay. So I have drag and drop above that one. So now you can see that project design overview entries listed at the top level page with the home icon designated it at the wiki homepage. So that's it for this lab now. If you have any question, you can put into comment section. Otherwise, that's all for now.